Hey, James here. As you can see, just been sent a bunch of cool stuff by RØDE. Thanks, RØDE. Today I wanted to talk about mic arms. Now, RØDE have produced this, which is the PSA1. I think this has been around for probably 8 years, 10 years, couldn't tell you exactly. I know we've certainly been using them for like the last probably 5 or 6 years, maybe since 2014. I think we first maybe got one of these. Something like that. The time flies, doesn't it? Anyway, this is one of the more traditional mic arms on the market in that it's kind of built on a sort of scissor style angle poise type lamp design. Mic arms of this nature have been around in radio studios probably since, I don't know, the 1970s, something like that. The great thing about them is they are really, really good in terms of, you know, you can position a microphone any way you want, get it out of the way, you can put it right up in front of you, and it makes just your life easier as a broadcaster or a podcast host. So if you haven't got a mic arm already, I'd say get one. They really are good. And part of the problem with a lot of USB microphones as well is the stands that they come with, they're kind of very low down. You kind of want to be quite close up with your microphone. You want to have it sort of around 6 inches away from your face. And if it's not down on the table, you kind of have to be down like this. So this just raises the height up as well, more than anything. But RØDE have now come out with this, which is the PSA1 Plus microphone arm. I think there's some great stuff about this. I also think that there are some things that I'm kind of surprised that RØDE hadn't maybe innovated on and improved slightly. But we're going to be going through all of that in this video, so stay right there. Okay, so let's have a look firstly at what we get inside the new box. This is the PSA1 mic arm by RØDE. Some of the feature benefits along the top here: easy positioning, parallel movement, which is good because it keeps your mic nice and level, whereas some of the tube-based designs will end up pushing your mic kind of up at an angle. Low noise operation, which kind of means it doesn't really make too much noise as you move around. And also these always come with a desk clamp, like so you can actually clamp it on your desk. This is the old model, and also something that you can actually drill into your table if you want to make it more of a permanent fixture. So let's have a look. Let's see what we get inside the box. So as you can see, we've got our desk mount. Now, as I mentioned, this is kind of, you can see there's some slight differences here. We have a kind of a slight plastic clamp housing around our clamp. I guess that just stops us marking the underside of the table. I'm not sure if that's drastically important, but nice to have nevertheless. I guess it's just more of a finished product. Again, we've got sort of little rubber things at the end of our twisty bit. You know, again, just maybe like a slightly nicer finish to it. But other than that, not a great deal of difference. Now we're going to move on to the desk clamp. I haven't actually got one of the old style desk clamps, but from memory, this is kind of like looking a lot better. The other one was really just a metal bush, whereas this is, again, more kind of like a clamp. You know, it has a bottom plate and a top plate, more of a sort of nicer finish to it potentially. Also, this one crucially has a separate hole which you can use to feed your cables under the desk. Whereas the first one was just a bush mounting for the actual arm itself. Again, this is really only important if you're going to be drilling the arm permanently into your desk. So bear in mind, I would always start with the clamp, just figure out the positioning, because I've made this mistake in the past where I thought, I'm just going to drill a hole right in the center of the table, which didn't turn out working out well for me. So I would advise, before you start drilling through your desk or your table, figure out where you want it sighted using the clamp before you actually start drilling. But it's always good to have nice clean finish. Then we have the mic arm itself. As you can see, the main difference here is we have this sleeve. Now, slight improvement again on this top section. Instead of having the kind of metal things, we have more of a plastic tightener. This contraption here, where you kind of clamp the mic to, also looks a bit more sturdy compared to this existing one, which will probably make putting mics on and off your arms a lot easier. There's been several situations here at the office, and I suppose maybe this is kind of unique to us because we do a lot of reviews and trying out a lot of different microphones, where you end up getting your microphone stuck, or the bushes stuck on the end of these, and you end up having to remove them with a pair of pliers or something. Hopefully this will make it a little bit easier. I imagine for most people though, once you've got your microphone on here, you're not going to have to change it all that often, unless you perhaps upgrade. So let's mount this new PSA1 mic arm, and I'll talk you through some of the differences. Firstly, you'll notice there's actually a plastic bush around here, which kind of makes it glide a little bit smoother. So when you're moving your mic arm around, not that it actually makes a lot of noise anyway, it might help with noise reduction slightly. The main noticeable difference really with this mic arm is this sleeve here. This is kind of, despite the fact they've tried to make it look like a tube mic arm, perhaps a bit like the Yellowtech mica, which I've reviewed on this channel before, it still has the same scissor sort of design underneath. This is actually just like a neoprene sleeve, which you can't remove. When you peel it back, there's a sort of cardboard, I don't know, a cardboard sleeve underneath, so you can't really poke your fingers through the mic arm. Now, I have several times got my fingers trapped in these, and it can be quite painful. And I probably imagine to a young child, maybe even slightly dangerous. So this is probably a safety feature more than anything. I think it's also a great way for Rode to get their branding across the mic arm, of course. So whenever you see someone recording a podcast, you've got no doubt that it's a Rode. However, one addition also is a cable management feature. There are some clips along the top, which are designed to carry your cable a bit more neatly down the arm. Again, I feel like perhaps Rode could have improved this. Maybe they could have thought about building a cable into the mic arm. Some more expensive options do have cables built in. Certainly when we kit out professional studios, generally we go with, we've used either Yellowtech mica arms or some K&M arms, which have got built-in cables. But we've also fit out plenty of studios with these as well. Generally speaking, we'll just cable tie the cable along. These clips, I guess, will just make that process slightly easier. So overall, I think this is a little bit of an upgrade from the already existing but brilliant mic arm. I think the addition of the sleeve is a little bit confusing maybe. I can see the benefits in that it kind of maybe makes it look a little bit cleaner. Maybe they could have considered upgrading to an actual tube-based design. That seems to be the trend these days. A lot of people are going for that. Ultimately though, there are some benefits in having this scissor design. One of the main benefits as well is this arm is really capable of carrying heavy microphones. So if you're working with a professional grade condenser microphone, something like Neumann TLM103 or a Neumann U87, these are more than capable of carrying the weight of one of those heavier mics. You know, I think Rode have done a good job of doing a few upgrades. They've kept an existing product which has been selling, I imagine, like crazy for years and years, and kind of added a few tweaks and improvements. So good job, Rode. If you're going to go out and buy a mic arm, I'm not sure if they're still selling the old version of this, but I certainly think there's probably a few advantages to the new version. So go and check it out. I'll put a link below if you're interested in buying. Leave me some comments and let me know what you think. Is this really enough of an upgrade? Could Rode have done better, do you think? Or is this more than enough? Let me know in the comments, what do you think of the new PSA1 Plus? I'd be really curious to know what you think. What makes the difference between a successful radio station and a failed project? Well, after working with tens of thousands of broadcasters over the past 15 years and helping lots of people start their own radio stations, I see the same mistakes being made time and time again. So what I've done is I've put together a guide called the 5-Step Radio Startup Checklist, which really covers everything from concepting your radio station to marketing it. And this guide, I believe, will make the difference between you having a successful venture with longevity and creating something that doesn't quite hit the mark. Go and grab your copy now for free at jamesm.com/radio. Just enter your name and your email address and I'll send it over to you straight away. You're going to find it really useful. There's tons of information there which will help you with concepting and launching your brand and bringing it to market.